Hello and welcome, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? I am just getting started live right now. What's up, San Poyle? How you doing? Harbaugh to the Browns and watch him turn that franchise around. That would be very interesting. I would actually enjoy that. Hello, Fire Goddess, my love. Hope you're doing well. Um, yeah. So a lot of stuff has happened over the weekend, and I just barely now get to cover it because I gotta work, and Wednesday is the best day to do that. I just got back from a nap. But let's get into what we were going into. The big news out of the coaching carousel is that John Harbaugh was fired by the Baltimore Ravens 18 years after he took the job from Brian Billick back in the day. Won a Super Bowl with the Ravens back in 2012 with Joe Flacco as his quarterback. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis all were on the team at that time, beating the San Francisco 49ers. What was it? I forgot the score, but I remember it was the blackout game where half the stadium went dark in the Superdome. So what does that mean for the Ravens? The Ravens, for the first time, are not going to have a coach. Some of it is rumored to be that he just didn't want to get rid of his offensive coordinator, and that led to it. We know that people have been calling for his firing for a while. So who's gonna take that Ravens position? Let me look up who's on the line for that Ravens position. Who's being interviewed? Ravens coach. So the hair tells me, yeah, I had a good nap. So the likely candidates are Clint Kubiak and Anthony Weaver from the Seattle Seahawks, which is the OC, and Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins defensive coordinator, being first requested interviewers. You got your Todd Monken, your Jesse Minters, Chris Shula, and Kevin Stefanski also being in line for that job. But who do you want? Do you want an offensive-minded coach that's going to put the best foot forward and make the offense hum, or do you want a defensive coach that's going to improve that defense that was repulsive, to say the least, for the whole season and for the end of John Harbaugh's tenure? I would say I've always been a fan of defensive coaches and letting the offensive coordinator figure out the offense. So my picks would probably be like a Brian Flores, who was really good with the Minnesota Vikings, especially like since we know that he was paid to tank games and things like that. He didn't want to tank. The Dolphins wanted to tank, and we get him getting fired at the end of the season and bringing in Mike McDaniel. And that's up to everybody who's in their position. I mean, I guess. But I think that Brian Flores would be a good thing. I would like a Anthony Weaver, who's the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins down the stretch played a lot better than they did earlier on this season, and a lot of that is because their defense was better. You had injuries along those cornerback positions early on, like a lot of season-ending injuries, and I feel like the Dolphins' defense played pretty good for what they had this year. You have Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. He's done wonders with the Seattle Seahawks offense. I really don't like Darnold's play as of late. Is that a Clint Kubiak problem? Is that not? I don't think it is. It's just Darnold trying to Darnold the game away to teams. Then you have your Kevin Stefanski's offensive coach that fizzled out in the Cleveland Browns franchise. But to be honest, anyone who takes a coaching job in Cleveland is going to have an uphill battle because Cleveland just isn't a good franchise. So there's that possibility. I think if I'm going to give my best guess, they're probably going to give it to a Clint Kubiak, Kevin Stefanski, someone like that. But I would like Brian Flores to get that job. Now we move on to the coaches that matter a little less. The Tennessee Titans are going to interview Matt Nagy. They're going to interview Jason Garrett, supposedly. Your Steve Spagnuolas, your Clint Kubiaks, and things like that. And I was talking to my brother early on, saying, like, dude, like, do they want to win? Do the Titans really want to win this game or win this next season? Because the coaches they're going after are not coaches that I would say were winning. You got the Clapper, Mr. 8-8, Jason Garrett, who hasn't coached in a while, and I don't know if he's a good coach. He's decent enough. You have Matt Nagy, who failed on the Bears. You have also, I mean, all the other who are they even interviewing? Titans interview candidates. I know it's Nagy, and I know it's Nagy for one. But Nagy didn't even call the plays on the offense for the Chiefs. That's usually an Andy Reid thing. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea to hire one of Nagy. Who else are they going after? Lou Amarino, Anarumo. I actually like that. I like Anarumo. I think he was decent with the Colts defense, but their defensive backs were not the best. And then you have Raheem Morris, who had 2 seasons in Tampa Bay, showed that he couldn't coach. It's like the Titans don't really know what they want. Oh, no wonder. Bargonzi is another one who, let's see. Bargonzi knows Nagy well, having spent 16 years with the Chiefs himself. So Bargonzi has a great relationship with Matt Nagy. That's probably why they're going to try and hire him. It's kind of like, I don't care. Like, I want to see the Titans sign the Eagles offensive coordinator and watch the Titans lead the league in scoring. That would be funny, to be honest, if they give Kevin Patullo the job and he does really well. It would be hilarious. I doubt that he would actually get that, but it could happen. I don't know. Maybe it is Nick Sirianni's fault and Jalen Hurts' fault that they're not scoring as many points. I do like, you have to like what you see in Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward, despite being sacked and pummeled to death by the offensive line's incompetency, you like what you saw in the later half for Cam Ward. Raheem Morris doesn't speak. Oh, look, Kevin Stefanski is another one. Do you really want to take a flyer on Kevin Stefanski? I don't know. I mean, he did lead them to was he the one that led them to the playoffs? I think he was. Morris was 37-56 in the NFL. Titans are permitted to. So let's look at where is Stefanski? Also oversaw the Browns' first playoff victory in 26 years. This past campaign, he was under routine criticism for handling of rookie. Look, he wasn't going to be the coach of Shedeur Sanders. They're going to ride Shedeur Sanders next season. The Browns are, and we knew Stefanski didn't really like him. Nagy wasn't a very good coach on the Bears. Spagnuolo sucked with the Rams back in the day. So you have your work cut out for him. And there's not a lot of good coaches. I don't think there's a lot of good coaches that are out there today. like last year. Last year you had a lot better coaches. Brother wants Clint Kubiak Clint Kubiak or Chris Shula. He'd even say Mike McCarthy would be good enough. Um, Mike McCarthy's decent. I mean, he's a guy who can get your ship right. He's not a long term, but he'd be a good stopgap until they actually find someone they want. I think so. Yeah, the Browns coach did. Let me double check. Did Stefanski win Coach of the Year? I think he did. Yes, in 2020, Stefanski won Coach of the Year, and then won again in 2023. I mean, yeah, I think Stefanski might be good for the Titans, especially with the young quarterback like Cam Ward. He's a good offensive guy. Good call, Sam Hoyle. I really didn't know. So I'll basically tell you what happened from like 2009 to 2023. I was in and out of football a lot. I dealt with a lot of mental health issues, so I wasn't really that into a lot of things. Life just kind of beat me down. 2024 was the first time I felt good enough to like finally enjoy life. So that's why I'm a little hazy on. That's why I'm a little hazy on things. But yeah, Stefanski might be a good thing for Tennessee. They're an easy organization to turn around, especially we've seen Vrabel do it. It was stupid for the Titans to get him. At the end of the day, I think they're gonna go Matt Nagy. Unfortunately, Stefanski might also work in New York with a Jackson Dart and a Scatabo. You have Malik Neighbors. You have pretty good pieces in. You have pretty good pieces in New York, so you never know. I think that he would be good there. I think that would probably be his best shot at like turning a team around. Titans still need a lot of work. The offensive line is atrocious. They don't really have a running game. Their defense sucks. Other than that, I think Giants are a good fit for him. You would say Atlanta. Atlanta could very well have won the division had they won one more game. They have some pieces. They have Michael Penix Jr. They have a great running back, and Brian Robinson Jr. and Algier. You have running back receivers like Drake London and people like that. So I think that would be a very good place for Stefanski. Where would Harbaugh go though? Harbaugh, I would say Harbaugh. Maybe he takes a year off. I mean, there's not really if Stefanski goes to New York or Atlanta, I think most teams are going to want Harbaugh first. I think. Now he is 62 years old or something like that, but I would wonder. Harbaugh would probably take the Atlanta job. That'd probably be the best, or even a job where like coaches are not really sure they want the guy, and they're willing to go after a high name like Harbaugh. I've heard rumors of like I haven't heard really anything from Harbaugh. Not Michigan. No, he probably won't go to Michigan again like his brother did. Who wants John Harbaugh? Let's see who's on the radar. New York Giants, Vegas Raiders, Atlanta Falcons, Cleveland Browns. Giants are often cited as the early favorite to hire him. Do you want to go to the NFC East? I don't know. Giants are an interesting place. I think Giants are an interesting place. So that would leave like Stefanski to Atlanta, maybe Tennessee. This is all speculation. I'm just trying to put things together. Tennessee is one of those teams where, like, if they have a good offseason, could be a little bit more competitive than they have been. Giants were very fun to watch, and there was a few games they won, and they have pieces around Dart already. They just need like one more solid draft. Atlanta, you have a lot of solid pieces, probably the best of the bunch. I don't see anyone going to the Raiders. Stefanski to the Raiders. I don't know if anybody wants to lead the Raiders. I don't even think the Raiders want to be the Raiders at this point because they're just a mess. They've been a mess since 2003 or 2004. Arizona Cardinals, huge mess. You do have a receiver tandem. You have McBride, decent defense, but you don't really have the quarterback situation is the hardest part for the Cardinals. Are you going into the draft? Who's in the draft? Who's in the mock draft? Mock draft. You need a quarterback. Okay, let's see. I am so sorry. Mock draft. If you're gonna draft someone, Fernando Mendoza goes to Indiana. Dante Moore would go to the Jets. And you're not gonna get a quarterback from Arizona they're thinking Francis Mauigoa. Wow, that's a mouthful. Mauigoa. Yeah, any free agents coming up for them? Let's see. Free agent QBs. I mean, they could call up like a Phillip Rivers again. I really don't know. 2026. So Aaron Glenn is going to get another chance, supposedly. And I'm wondering why Todd Bowles hasn't been fired. I wonder if they are going to fire him. All right, so you got Daniel Jones. He's not going to be ready. Aaron Rodgers may retire. Then you got your Russell Wilsons. There is not a lot of people to sink your teeth in. I could see a team going after Russell Wilson, to be honest, as a stopgap quarterback. He's just, I don't know. It would probably be Rodgers. It would probably be Wilson. Jones will probably go back to the Colts. Yeah, there's slim pickings this year. I don't know. Yeah, your quarterback situation is going to suck for another year, Arizona, unless you can trade up. The Raiders would be smart to trade up. They have more trouble than just quarterback, but they're not going to. As for the Raiders coaching, who are they going to be interviewing? Raiders candidates. Next head coach. I mean, there's some names out there that are not even being. Oh, I thought they. So I heard that the Raiders owe $50 million in money to coaches. They do have the number one pick. Fernando Mendoza is obviously going to go number one, supposedly. So Brian Flores, interesting. They blitz at the highest rate, 49.5 this season, and helped Minnesota rack up 49 sacks. They were pretty good on defense. That's one of the candidates. Clint Kubiak. Do you want someone to mold your number one overall pick? Yes. Is Clint Kubiak that guy? Well, he did have a lot of help with Jackson Smith and Jigba, but Darnold has 20 turnovers, 14 interceptions, 6 lost fumbles. Of pay numbers, I volunteer to be head coach for the Raiders. I would hire you. I would hire you over most anyone, Dax. You probably know more about the Raiders and getting them right than the coaches they've hired. Like, Josh McDaniels is obviously on a mission to screw up every AFC West team. Jack Beck. I think Clint Kubiak to the Raiders would be nice. If you want someone to mold your offense, he's very good with he's very good with Charbonnet and Walker. I would say give him a shot. Maybe he gets Genty going. Maybe that helps out Mendoza when he gets there. The receivers they have though don't scare anyone except Bowers. So I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with the Raiders. The Raiders are in perpetual hell every freaking day. Every time. They are going to interview Brian Daboll. Do you really want Brian Daboll? No. Robert Saleh is another interesting one. He's helped coach to a 12-5 record. That might do something. 13th ranked scoring defense, 21.8 points allowed. I wouldn't mind that one either. That actually would be a good pickup for them. Saleh or Kubiak would probably be the best options, in my opinion. And I'm just a guy who talks football on the internet. I don't know stuff. I don't know anything. This is just all guessing games for me. Harbaugh? What are some landing spots for Harbaugh? They're saying the Giants. Or the Browns? If Harbaugh desired to go the petty route, he could. The Browns are a team. That would be pretty fun. I just can't be OC or DC. In Madden, all I ever do is call like 3-4 different plays. That's what I do. There's like 3 or 4 different plays that I call in Madden. My brother calls like 2 plays. And it's usually him like operating at the line with the quarterback, making his receivers all do slant routes and then running to that side and throwing it and waiting for people to get open. That's how he plays. And it works because Madden cover system sucks. Harbaugh could take McDaniel's spot, I think. I just don't know. Arizona's probably the worst place. I think Arizona's the worst place. You hate Harbaugh. Why do you hate Harbaugh? What's up with Harbaugh? I would love to know. There's Pete Carroll, the Raiders. Don't know who would go there. Arizona looks like the worst place to go. That or Oakland or Las Vegas. I don't know why Las Vegas. The Raiders. I keep calling them Oakland because they were Oakland my whole life. But yeah, the Arizona Cardinals are not a good place to go. But who would go there? I'm thinking like they're probably going to get an offensive guy. I could see Stefanski going to Arizona for a lot of money. Who's Arizona going after? Arizona Cardinals coach candidates. Top 10 potential candidates for coaching. They're saying Harbaugh. But does Harbaugh really want to go to a messy situation like that? Jonathan Gannon, nope. By far the most proven candidate. Fired himself. Fired him on Tuesday. Yada, yada, yada. Huh. I don't think he goes there. There's Stefanski. They need an offensive mind. Defense is always solid. He is someone that led them to the playoffs, won Coach of the Year twice. I think he was just a victim of bad circumstance. I mean, you had massage parlor Watson as your quarterback, who was a $240 million cap. McCarthy. I really just don't like McCarthy as a full-time coach. He hasn't evolved in, 20 years? Jim was annoying as heck as head coach for the 49ers. Oh, yeah, Jim. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. Not John. Yeah, John was the one that was fired. Jim, yeah, he's the Chargers coach. So, understandably, you guys are Seahawks fans, so he was probably annoying. I have no beef with him. Arizona don't got crap at quarterback, and you're still a year away. Clint Kubiak, thinking like one of these first-time coaches are probably going to get the job in Arizona. Do you want another defensive coordinator going to the 49ers? I mean, going to the Cardinals? Probably not. Jonathan Gannon was already a coach. Vance Joseph, Broncos defensive coordinator. I mean, if you get another defensive coordinator, aren't you basically putting a hat on a hat? There's Chris Shula. That's my brother's pick for a coach. Jeff Haley. Another defense. They're talking a lot about defensive guys. But it's like putting a hat on a hat. Like, you just had a defensive coach. It didn't go well. Maybe that's more because Kyler Murray is off playing Call of Duty most of the time. But, yeah, it's putting a hat on a hat. I would say go after an offensive guy. See what you can get. Can't do worse than for the Cards this year. Yeah. Oh, I remember that. He definitely. I remember him trying to start a brawl with who was the coach of the Lions at the time? It wasn't Campbell? Campbell, no, that was way later. Jim has no class. Who was the coach? Hold on. Jim Harbaugh near fight with Lions. Who was the coach on the Lions? Jim Schwartz. It was Jim Schwartz and Jim Harbaugh. I remember that. That was 2011. Yeah, but other than that, Raiders are another one. Raiders are down bad. Can't do worse for the Cards than this year. No, you can't. You want an offensive coordinator to be the candidate for the Cardinals. As for the Raiders, you just want stability. Maybe you do just go Harbaugh or McCarthy. Get someone with like some. Oh no, you already did that with freaking Carroll. You did that with Carroll. So no. What do you do if you're the Raiders? You can't win with a first-time head coach. You can't win with the veteran head coach. You can't win with any. Maybe just trot out nobody. Have the players coach themselves and probably be better. The Raiders are just a lost cause as a franchise right now. They can't win with anybody. They went and got Geno Smith, who turned the ball over like it was hotcakes. And then you got Pete Carroll, who's older than dirt. No offense, 73 years old. Mac, you managed to piss off lifer Max Crosby. They want Harbaugh. Like, does anybody want to go to Las Vegas? I don't know. I don't know who goes to. Who do you guys chat? Who do you guys think? Who goes to Las Vegas? Who wants to go to Las Vegas? Who would want to go to Las Vegas, I wonder? There's John. Then Cliff Kingsbury, who coached Jaden Daniels. That's who they're saying. You're gonna go hire the corpse of John Madden to bring him back, maybe. And then there's Clint Kubiak. Those are the three. I actually think Clint Kubiak would be the best guy for the Raiders. Honestly, I really like what Richard did for us back in 2010 to 2017. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't gotten a shot something higher. Richard. Liked what Richard did. Richard is the offensive coordinator or defensive? Shot at something higher, but I haven't kept tabs on him since he left us. 2 Harbaughs in one division would be interesting. Seahawks. Richard. 2010 through 2017. Not Richard Sherman. Richard who? I don't know who Richard is. Coach? Chris Richard was a key coach starting as an assistant defensive backs coach in 2010. Chris Richard. DC from 2015 to 2017. What's he doing right now? His defense ranked first in points allowed in 2015. Ha! That might be an interesting one for the Raiders. What's he doing now? What's his name? Chris Richard. He is... Looks like he's on the Jaguars squad. He's new. He was the New Orleans Saints defensive coordinator in 2022. 9th in points allowed. Right now, he's the defensive back coach in Jacksonville. Maybe. Yeah, he's on the Jags right now. Maybe. Do you really want to hire someone that... I wouldn't mind that. He was number 1 in points in 2015, number 3 in 2016, and then 13th in points in 2017. But that's with like a bad squad. Like your guys' squad got really undone by the time 2017 rolled around. And then, like, 5 years later, he was 9th in points with New Orleans. Not bad. I wouldn't mind him getting, like, a DC promotion somewhere. Eventually. Who else? We lost... Yeah, all the Legion of Boom was gone by then. So I understand why they just didn't have anything after that. GMs. Oh, GMs were fired. I forgot about the GMs. I'm sorry. Let's look at GMs real quick. GM firings. GMs is a little bit more... Yeah, he was a younger guy. So he probably got along a lot better with them. I would actually like that. He seems like a cool dude. I mean, his defenses were solid. All right, GM. Atlanta Falcons. Terry Fontenot was fired. I mean, they weren't like bad, like personnel-wise. They're Ian Cunningham, Bears assistant general manager, Josh Williams, 49ers director of scouting and football operations. The 49ers don't draft first round well. I don't think. I can't remember. There was a team that couldn't draft well in the first round. Miami Dolphins, Chris Greer was around for 10 years, was under 500. Bad contract with Tua after he got his brain scrambled, things like that. John Eric Sullivan, Packers VP of Player Personnel. Alec Halaby, Eagles Assistant General Manager. Tariq Ahmad, 49ers VP of Player Personnel. Josh Williams, 49ers Director of Scouting, Football Operations. John McKay is one. RJ Gillen, Champ Kelly, Dolphins Interim GM. Who do you go there? I mean, the Eagles, they have good contracts. That would be very nice. Other than that, I don't know anything about other general managers, to be honest. Dolphins need help in a lot of ways. And Todd Bowles seems to be the guy that's going to be sticking around. So that's basically all I have today. It's a little short 42-minute stream. Hope you guys all had a good day. I'm going to go and hang out and try and finish my power rankings video. I'll see you guys in the next video. C'est la vie. Adios. Stay blessed. Boom.